Good
All
morning,
right, Sally.
Thomas.
Morning, Sally. Boat talk.
Yeah,
Last call. We had a nice boat chat,
yeah.
complete with Howard Schultz discussion that I told Isabel, and she was like, "That's Sally for you." Anyway, so you have a boat?
No, we're not allowed to have a boat. We thought boats would be nice, 30 years ago. So we went out and bought this really nice boat. And then I discovered that my gentle husband turns into a beast when he has a boat on the back. He screams, it's putting the boat in the water and taking the boat out of the water. He screams. The last time we ever tried to do a boat, I was in the truck backing it in. He was screaming at me. And I don't like backing into the water. And so what I did is I put it in park, got out of the truck, which was high, waited out, water got in the truck and said, you know what? Obviously you don't need me to help you with this. I had people laughing on the shore. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm done. So then we just decided it was not good for our marriage to have a boat. So he's not allowed to have a boat. The other time he turns into a beast is when a road narrows down and you're in the lane where the others are supposed to merge in with you. All of a sudden his eyes get narrow. He begins shifting around, looking for someone who's not obeying the unspoken rule of you don't pull into somebody in front of somebody if you're in the wrong lane. And he does it. He can't help himself. So, there's some things we just have to accept in our friends. And so anyway, no, we don't have a boat. But the boat I was out on it was rather a fantastic. I didn't know boats could have 5 levels.
It had 5 levels. So
and 2 bathrooms and
is
a
that
shower.
It's like a $1.5 million boat?
I have no idea.
Oh,
you missed the second day we went out. Bill brought in 4 king salmon and 4 coho salmon in about an hour and a half. You were back in early. It was a lot of fun. We had fun. And it had this fantastic coffee maker on it, which I said, I want one of those. And it was a Phillips. And it makes the best regular cup of coffee that I think I've ever had. I mean, it's
not
really
coffee,
good.
espresso?
No, this is just plain coffee in the back.
Oh, okay.
And it also has a wand.
Oh, wait. Is this a different machine?
No, it's the same machine. It's an espresso machine, but I used it to make Americanos.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, you didn't say Americano. You said regular coffee, which is not.
So
Americano.
Anyway, we are freezing, starting to fill up with fish. Tomorrow we're going clamming again.
Okay. My favorite part about this whole morning so far is where you're shitting on Bill, and Bill has no ability to help himself. You could be like, yeah, and while he does it, he develops this terrible smell, and it just keeps the flies away.
Do you know what the point is? He doesn't care.
Good.
I can say anything I want. It doesn't affect him. He doesn't care.
Good. All right. So we had a call this morning.
It was a pretty good call.
It was pretty good. I agree.
Lots of meat on the bone, so to speak, this morning. And while the call was going on, I was busily trying to figure out my own listings. So I figured out how to print out a list of my active listings. Boy, that 20 listing a day that I said I'm doing, and I did it for 10 days, almost ruined my life. Yeah, I did 20 and they were really crappy. So I don't know what I'm doing. So
almost ruined your life?
It did. I mean, all of a sudden I've got wrong sizes on stuff. Pictures aren't right. So I need to slow my roll, do it right once, and then try to duplicate that effort again and again. How are your sales this weekend?
They're good. I had some
decent?
big fish come in and just.
Ooh, were they?
There were some coho salmon. Some coho salmon were purchased.
No, you want kings.
Well, I like the word coho.
Do you know that every fish, all the salmon have 2 names?
So we're just stereotyping all fish now.
Yeah,
Doesn't even
what
matter.
you do is, well, if there's salmon, and you do it by your hand. So every fish has two names. And this is how you remember it. Your thumb is your chum, and your chum is your dog. So the chum or dogfish. Okay. You can sock yourself in the eye, and if you do, it'll turn to red. These are reds or sockeye. The middle finger is the king of all, the Chinook. On your ring finger, if you cohabitate, you'd better wear silver. So cohos are also called silvers. And
Cohabit.
your little finger is the pinky, and it's humped. So pinks or humpies are the fifth kind.
Well, so my only pushback is,
Yeah,
if you're,
on fish, you have pushback.
well, if you're wifing up with a sterling silver ring,
Yeah.
I just don't know whether or not like she's gonna be cool with that. You know what I mean?
It's just to remember the type of fish, damn it.
Yeah, but so
No.
I mean,
No.
and
So when you
I'm
say
saying like it's
silvers,
not accurate.
you can use interchangeably coho and silver. You can use interchangeably Chinook and king. So sometimes I'll call, but they're the same fish. They have two different names.
Yeah, but you can't interchangeably use the words gold or diamond and silver.
That's true. You know why I don't wear any rings?
You didn't get any?
Oh no, as I've told you, I have many rings. Because I can't find them. Bill,
I
back
mean,
in the
you've
day,
lost them all?
well, they're somewhere in the house. I do this about every 3
Good.
years. I hide them. We go out of town. I say, well, I'm not going to leave them there because somebody will find them. Ha, I'll move them here. So I've got multiple beautiful things that Bill has bought me. They're in a little gray bag hidden someplace. So I don't, they might be in the dog food because I'd hide it one place and I'd say, oh no, somebody will think of that. So I'm going to France and I'm not taking any of the beautiful jewelry Bill has bought me over the years because
Good.
it's somewhere in this
Wonderful.
house. I try to
What-
recreate what I would think like, okay, put them in the dead dog's ashes because who'd look there? And the dog will guard them. That didn't work. I tried that. So
Whenever Isabella needs to wear jewelry, like she wants to wear jewelry for like wedding or something we go to, she always asks her mom, because she has no fancy jewelry other than anything that I find. So it's like, hey mom, can I borrow the gold necklace that you have in the safety deposit box that you haven't touched in 30 years? And she's like, no, what if you lose it? Like, God.
well, I used to carry insurance on all this stuff, but the insurance got to be horribly expensive. So I thought I'll just be more
So-
careful with it, which is when I quit wearing it.
So my brother's got some fancy watches. Apparently, like, so to insure his house is some dirt cheap thing, like
Mhm.
$80 a month or something. But to insure his jewelry is like an extra 25.
That's right. It's called a rider. You have a jewelry rider because you have something
Ah,
in the house that's more expensive than normal. I have some artwork. I've given away a lot of my artwork, but I had some really expensive artwork, and I went through the same thing.
what'd you have?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but I had some expensive artwork.
Do you have any John Wayne Gacy paintings?
No, but aren't those creepy? I mean, all the
I want
clown
one.
faces, the clown
I want
faces.
one. I want one.
Why don't you just hire a 5-year-old kid to paint a clown face? That's
Because
basically.
John Wayne Gacy didn't paint it. Because it doesn't have the spirit of 31 dead boys in it.
Isn't that awful? You know. Did you hear my comment about everybody in California is motivated? And then I look on TV and I see Oakland and, San Francisco. You can't negotiate the streets because everybody's laying around.
So
But everybody's motivated.
I went to San Francisco. Oh my God, the number of homeless people. There's just like, you're on a sidewalk and you look up and you're like, okay, that's just all tents. Avoid, like, we can't even drive down that street. All
Now,
right, cool.
what is the right term? They're not, I used to think homeless people were people who couldn't afford or couldn't find or got kicked out of their. That isn't the case. There are people who choose that as a lifestyle. more power to them. I don't want to pay for it, but
More
more
power
power-
to them, more power to the homeless people.
well, I mean, if they want, but the opposite side of that is you can choose to live that kind of a life, but you have to, deal with the consequences, which are, no, you can't sleep on the street. And so somebody said, well, the public street belongs to everyone. And I said, okay, let's take the whole population of Oregon, divide it by the square feet in Oregon. And so that guy has absolute access to 1.4 square inches because that's his share. Nobody owns it. You can't take public property and own it yourself. And yet that's what, don't get me started. I'm an old fogey, but I will go out of my way to help anyone who is truly having a tough time. I'll feed their kids. I will. I'll feed their kids. Kids don't ask for what they run into, but for people who choose not to work because they don't, somebody said, we'll work for money.
Sally,
we all work for money.
Sally, we're going to get canceled due to homeless
Am I
people
ranting?
here.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
No, you're not ranting, but like 5 years ago, you could have said these things and people would be like, huh, yeah. But now you say these things, we're never going to get monetized.
Okay. Well, I guess I screwed that up. Love those homeless people. Those poor souls. In fact,
you know what I like
who
about
feels like that, just send me your address and I'll make sure every homeless person that I run into has your address and phone number because you're going to help them.
Send Sally your Venmo. Sally's just going to freely give up some cash money. Good to go.
That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Or Cash App. Sally does Cash App as well.
Well, once again, we have wandered into the realm of whatever. The summer has finally arrived in Astoria, as have the tourists. So I'm tripping over these people. They don't know when the street narrows down to where it's just one car. So Bill is in his heyday, snarling it. They're turning evil and snarling. We're going to go clam digging. There's only only 3 more days of clam digging, and then the season closes until September.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was a seasonal thing. Okay.
Yeah, you deal with 2 things, the season and then the tides that dictate whether or not you actually get some clams. But fishing season is just beginning to roll in.
You got a boat.
I don't have a boat, but I have friends who have boats.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I don't think I want a boat. No, I know I don't. There are a lot of things I don't want. I don't want a boat. I've had second homes forever. I don't want a second home. We got rid of the house in Texas, keeping 2 homes. I'm not keeping my 1 home up. I look outside now, I got weeds. So why would I want to have 2 homes to make me feel guilty? Well, anyway, let's get back to the call today. Watchability. Go.
It wasn't incredibly, it was a little Chris ranty. So, but Chris Ranty's a little good. I give it a 6.5.
Yeah, but I'm right with you there. Although I was doing something else, I wasn't inclined to want to turn it off. And as far as takeaways, I don't know that I appreciate numbers and I appreciate what they can do. I don't, so I get wound up in the validity of someone's computation instead of just listening to their idea. And I need to, because there are lots of holes in a lot of these formulas that I'm seeing, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to use those formulas.
You mean just randomly throwing out a blanket statement like,
yeah,
there's only 5 people that make $1,000 a day. If you do this, then
I'm worse than that. When he said there are 4.3 weeks, no, there aren't. There are 4.23. So, but see, I get hung up on those kinds of things. 4.23
sassy
weeks.
Sally.
Yeah, 4.23. So, yeah, it was a good takeaway. If I don't get wound up in trying to handle the inconsistencies in the math, sometimes it was a good takeaway. It was good, solid call. It was a good, solid call.
Well, what's your major takeaway?
I knew you were going to ask that. Well, I always don't know why I do this. I always write down what is today's subject. And I wrote it down and I'm not sure we ever really touched on it. I can't remember. I can't find my book now. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Hold on, I'll read it to you. I don't know why I write them down because we seldom stick to them. It was, what makes a great reseller?
You know what I like about the titles? Because the fact that there is a title and then it goes off the rails into something totally different
Right.
explains life, but it still gets together. It's deep.
I always, obediently write down my answer. What makes a great reseller? A great reseller sets ambitious objectives and meets or exceeds them consistently. That was my
Damn.
definition. I thought that was pretty good. So then I knew, well, if he, I'm trying to act like the kid who doesn't know the answer and sits in the back of the class and won't make eye contact, and it works. But my objective would be to do 20 excellent listings a day and spend no more than 5 hours doing it. I've got kind of a mess to clean up here. I'm gradually growing my store with crappy listings, I think. So
Even though if you want some help, I'm more than happy to waste
you're
my
not,
own time
every
by
time I
helping
ask
you.
you for help, you don't answer me.
Yeah, but you asked me for help, like, what do you think of this random leather goods company that I've never heard of and just has a
Then all
single
you have
sign
to
on the
do is say,
website?
I've never heard of it. Instead, it's just a blank and dropping pennies into a well that you never hear them hit the bottom. Ever
Yeah,
hear them.
Yeah, but at least you get to make a wish with the pennies.
I need your help. I'm gonna don't tell anybody, but I've decided, see, when I'm going to this fancy schmancy wedding in my don't tell anybody, I bought a $12 Goodwill dress. Anyway, I bought this. So I thought, well, and I bought a hat, because they wear those hats, kind of, squid
Mhm.
things. Yeah, it's kind of squid things. So I bought a wig because I need,
You bought a wig. All right,
I
cool.
did. Well, it's coming in the mail today. It's probably going to look horrible, isn't it?
Cool. I don't know. Let's see. What color is it?
And the other thing, it wasn't very expensive, like $80, and it's human hair. So I think it came off a dead person because you can't get live human hair.
Is it an afro? Because I
Yes.
don't want us to get canceled again, Sally. We've already been canceled once this call.
Let me tell you about, I have experience with afro hair. I was at a theme park in
Great, good.
Georgia, Atlanta, I think. I'm gonna tell you all about it. And I went to where they had the Serengeti, and I loved all the bright colors and everything. And I looked at the lions, and then I came back, and there was a lady sitting in a booth, and she was doing braids, like the cornrow braids.
Yeah,
My
cornrows.
friend looks beautiful. Of course, she looks like Nefertiti anyway. She can shave her head and look good, but she always wears these beautiful braids. And I never asked her much about it. So I thought, I'm going to surprise Janice. I'm going to have my hair braided. So I go, and God, it hurt like hell. I mean,
It hurts.
Oh, so anyway, I come out and I've got all these braids, and Bill's kind of looking at scans. But I spent a day in the hot sun. Son of a bitch. My little white scalp burned red. It was awful.
Yep.
So I got home and I said, Janice, spill it. Why? What did you do? And I said, well, that's what I did. She said, oh, sorry. She said, you can't do that. I said, well, you always look so nice. She said, I'm black. I have black hair. You're not. You don't. It doesn't work. So she had a good laugh at my sunburned streaks in my hair, and it hurt. But she told me it took her like I think she said 8 hours, and you have to start a couple days ahead of time, oiling your scalp. I mean, but it's beautiful. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's my experience. So
one time I got my hair in cornrows at Christmas. My aunt was just like, you have such nice hair. And then was like, do you want it in cornrows? And I was like, why not? So then two of my aunts put my hair in cornrows, and I've got some pretty great photos of me in
I'd
cornrows.
love to see it. I'll tell you what, if you post a picture of you and your cornrows, I'll post a picture of me in my kolache factory.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I guess the moral of this story is some things just aren't possible. Just because it works for somebody else, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right?
I don't really know what that means, but sure.
Well, it means if you're If you don't have hair that wants to go in cornrows,
Oh,
don't
that.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I was like, is she trying to bring it back to reselling? Because that was a really bad transition. I guess we're still talking about cornrows.
No, we're not.
Sure.
We're talking about cornrows. You know, we're going to get kicked off the air for any number of reasons.
We've got like 3 today already, so we're good.
I know. Well, I don't think we're going to go on the air anyway. I kind of feel like the channel isn't probably going to happen.
So I'm wondering whether, I was thinking about the same thing this morning. I was like, I wonder if it's going to happen. But you know what? I'm excited. You know what? I still like doing it. So I think we should make our own channel.
I think probably that's it. And, I don't blame, Chris and Tech, because I have many times said, oh, let's do this. And then found out it's just such a pain in the ass, had nothing to do with what makes them successful. And so I don't mind that, if they just don't want to do this stuff, I don't blame them. But
I think they were looking for like a ton of people to be like, I'm doing it. Like, let's do it. And I just don't think it happened.
well, I think people are waiting to see it happen and then jump on board. But it's, I think maybe, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I
kind of like the
talking.
idea. I like the idea of doing it ourselves anyways.
And maybe we'll just call it Thomas and Sally.
There we go.
No squirrels. Do you know what? Do you know how to reach my husband? Do you know how to call him?
No. Why would
Good.
I know how to contact?
Well, because all of a sudden the squirrel hand has gone missing.
Good, thank God.
And it would be like him to just kind of misplace the handy squirrel. That's what handy squirrel. If someone
So
called him,
he's a fan of Handy Squirrel as well.
oh yeah, he just hates it. I think it's because it's the same color as your fingers, and so your
Really
fingers
weird.
gonna blend.
It's really weird. Okay. We're jumping
We have
back.
7 minutes left. Okay, so
We have
maybe we do
7
our own
minutes.
thing.
God, brutal.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I don't know. We can talk forever about nothing. It just is whether or not we get yanked off the air or not.
Oh, okay. So I bought tickets to FlipCon. I'll get my hotel and plane ticket right after this.
Good. I'm looking forward. We know what's going to happen at FlipCon? Dinner that night. And are there speakers? I mean, is there an agenda? I've never.
There's an
been to one.
agenda. There's an agenda. I think this is the first one. There's an agenda. That's about
Okay.
it.
Are there any other ones that you've gone to? Have you ever gone to one?
Never gone to something like this.
Well, we can broadcast the Thomas and Sally show from FlipCon.
I know. Yeah, we'll get on a stage and just do it. Because we'll do it early. Even if Chris doesn't have a call, we'll still do it in front of everybody on the stage. They're like, this wasn't scheduled. We're like, neither are we.
They'll say, does anyone have any questions? And we'll just go up to the stage, knock them off and say, welcome to the Thomas and Sally show, coming to you from FlipCon.
Yep.
Just kind of take it over.
Exactly. I like it. Anyways, so call today. Decent. Major takeaways. You need I like the thought of, to make a bunch of money, you need a major why. You need a really strong why. I don't think I have a very strong why. I'm doing pretty good, but in no way am I sitting here being like, I have the strongest why. I guess my why is to say screw you to everyone else.
You know what my
to
why
be good
is?
at it.
My why, as with everything else I do, is really why not? That's my
Good
why.
answer. It's
Why
a
not?
decent, it's kind of a weak answer, but it's fine.
No, I mean, why not? If you quit saying why not, you're going to do the same thing every day, which evidently is why people get divorced. Just don't get into that.
Yeah, but if you say why not, why would you pick this? You
Why
know what I
not?
mean?
That's why not. It's a great answer for everything.
That was good. You nailed it.
Ask me anything, and I'm going to give you an answer that says, why not?
Why not? Why not, Thomas? Why not?
Yeah. If
So
we do
your
our,
why, so your why is why not? My why is screw everyone else, and I need to make some money, and it's kind of fun. And I don't know,
And
what else do I
whatnot.
need? And whatnot, and the fun of whatnot. Got a whatnot happening tomorrow.
I'm going to try to, what time is it? If I'm not clamming,
I think it's
Or-
7 PM. I gotta look at it. I think I made it for 7 PM. I gotta make a little promo video.
I'm gonna sew some stuff, but I haven't had time. I don't hate that. Do you know why I never say I don't have time? Because one time this guy worked for me and he was French and he was always reading a book or something. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm learning to speak, I don't know, some language, Spanish. And I said, really? And I said, I'd like to do that. He said, why don't you do that? And I said, I don't have time. This Frenchman, his name was Remy. Remy turned to me and he said, tell me anything. Tell me you don't want to do it. Tell me there are more important things, but don't ever say you don't have time. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, what are you doing while you brush your teeth? You could be listening to an audio on how to do it. What, do you ever watch any TV? Then you're choosing to watch TV rather than learn something. So man, he just kind of blistered me. And so I never say I don't have time. I just say, you know what, there are 9 things ahead of that and list of priorities, but not, I don't have time.
I don't think I say I don't have time because the more I do this, the more I'm like, oh, I have time. I just don't use it that well or use it on something else.
Exactly. Well, you don't, but a lot of people do that and they think they have unique circumstances because, well, I have kids. We all have something. Like you have pickles that you've just looked at, right?
No, I was looking at some coats.
Well, I'll try to be a little more interesting. Oh, were they wide out?
I have a big pile of coats.
You see something
That's
shiny,
about it.
you kind of you go off in space on it.
We called it the squirrel cage.
We're not calling it the squirrel cage. It's just Thomas and Sally.
Thomas and Sally. I say we throw them all up today. What do you think?
No.
All right, cool. I don't have them. I have no power.
Yeah, I want to. First of all, I believe in, do what you say you're going to do. So I want to talk to our coaches and say, before we do this, and no harm, no foul, but before we do this, would this make your life easier if we just went ahead and did our own channel?
Yep.
And that way, that's courtesy,
Mhm.
rather than just abandoning ship. So
Mhm.
tomorrow, it may be a little rocky, but we're going to be clam digging. It should be beautiful tomorrow on the beach.
It seems to be.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to record. I don't know if I can or not. We'll see.
Can you do it when it's raining? I feel like it'd be really hard to see the thingy-majigs.
You can. In fact, I've clammed many times when I was hungry when it was raining, but the clams tend not to come up. But the reason they're coming up, for example, in the surf, is as the water goes out, little plankton are there. So the clam, if you look closely, and the little dimple it makes, or the hole, is a little snout up there, and they're feeding as it goes out. So when it's raining, it just kind of screws stuff up. It's not as easy to do that. And I think it's the same with fishing, the salmon. If it's rained hard, if it's raining, no good. But after a rain, sometimes then the salmon come up. The whole thing of catching salmon is fascinating. We had all kinds of bait yesterday or day before, whatever day it was, and they didn't want any of it. What they wanted was a small plastic thing called a spin fish.
Yep.
And
Makes
it's like
no sense.
And it doesn't. And they all agree. They're like, they have salmon talk, like the Thomas and Sally show. They have salmon talk. Early in the morning, they say, okay, how are we going to screw them up today? Okay,
Spin
let's
fish.
go for it. Only that little green thing with the blue spots on it. Or if you got that, guys, all right, go forth. And then that's all they'll bite on that day. Anyway, well, we have lots to talk about and plan, but I hope to see you tomorrow morning from the beach on the Pacific Ocean, catching razor clams.
Let's do it.
Peace. I'm trying to hit stop it. Bite me. We're not going to cut it. Okay, record.